Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder again with another AITA story for you. This one is, am I the astronaut for deliberately embarrassing my father-in-law in front of his family? I, male 36, am absolutely not what you call a handy kind of guy. I can build an IKEA flat pack, and I can follow a YouTube tutorial to find out how to declog my washing machine, but I don't have any what my father-in-law, male 60, would call worthwhile skills. I have to give him the credit that he's due and say that he's knowledgeable about plumbing, joinery, and electrics. He's often helped me and my wife with matters in our home, leaky pipes, some plastering work, etc., and we have always been grateful and appreciative of his efforts. My skills are more IT based. I work in this field for a living, which means I often get saddled with the old chestnuts such as, can you fix the printer? Or, the internet still isn't working. To me, these are simple issues to fix, but he's very IT illiterate. I never make a big deal about this because it's the least I can do to repay his help. However, he spares no opportunity whatsoever to take shots at my lack of worthwhile skills. He'll say, often in front of family and friends, that I'm not a real man, or that I'd be useless in an emergency, that sort of thing. Because he does a lot of stuff that I generally suck at, I bite my tongue and don't say anything to him. This week changed that. We bought my daughter this massive climbing frame/swing set for her birthday. My wife and I were able to assemble most of it, but the last few bits, as well as anchoring it to the ground, were giving us issues. My brother happened to stop by to visit, so he helped, but my wife also phoned father-in-law to come and help. We got the job done, but again, the commentary continued, which was especially insulting considering my brother was there. Yesterday, we were up visiting him. I was there, as was my wife, his wife, and my wife's brother and his wife. He asked me if I could look at his laptop, and he had some sort of virus. When I fired it up, it was one of those ransomware programs. Camera was showing the webcam feed of a fake police website. I was able to get his computer somewhat back to normal after a while, which took longer than he'd have liked, according to his comments. While I was bringing it back, he kept badgering me about what had caused the virus. A peruse through his internet history revealed a lot of corn. Nothing particularly embarrassing, but probably information that he wouldn't have wanted shared. It was out of my mouth before I had even finished processing the thought. Loads of these corn websites have lots of viruses and dodgy stuff. I'll get you a membership for my Norton account. You could have cut the tension with a knife. His wife looked super angry, and sister-in-law stifled a laugh. We left shortly after that, but on the way out, we heard the two of them arguing. My wife gave me both barrels in the car, but I said he is always giving me hassle, and I keep my mouth shut. Things have been frosty ever since, and I wonder if I went too far. Am I the asshole? No, and here's why. Because you say he kept badgering me about what had caused the virus. He asked. What were you supposed to do? Lie? If he hadn't asked, and you had just said it, yes, you would have been. Because then there's an indication that he knows what caused it, and he doesn't want you to say it out loud. But in this case, he was just ignorant enough to be like, well, I don't know what could have caused that. I'm just busy doing my worthwhile skills stuff and things. I don't know what could have caused that. What did cause that? What would cause something like that to happen? Would you tell me what could cause? This is taking way too long here. I figured you'd have this thing fixed by now. You being this, smart, geeky guy and all with no worthwhile skills who'd be worthless in a real life situation. I figured you'd have this done by now. What's causing all this? What did this? I don't understand it. What made this happen? It's your corn, dude. Could cut the tension with a butter knife. Or one of those corn holders. You're not the asshole for this, and you're right. I mean, even if he hadn't asked, you could have returned fire for all of the bullshit that he gives you. But I get it. I get it. I have a very handy both dad and father-in-law, and while I'm somewhat handy, they are much more actively handy than I am. So I will call them in for help often because they have a lot more access to more tools. They have a lot more experience with the kind of things that we may need to get done. And while I can do it myself, it's easier if we've got help from people who have more experience with it. So why not pull them in? In your case here, if there are things that you just straight up can't do, yeah, it makes sense. And you return the favor by doing those IT things for him. And when he's over doing whatever thing that you need fixed, I'm sure you aren't standing there badgering him. So the fact that he was doing it to you creates an imbalance in the equation. You were perfectly okay to say what you said because he asked and because the equation was imbalanced. And you had every right to be able to return fire that one time. Now, obviously, the way you did it caused more issues for him than how he had done it to you, but he asked. In my book, that's the end of it. Don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to. And also, it was just straight up in his browsing history. Maybe teach him how to clear his browser history as an olive branch and show him what a worthwhile skill that is.